Yo, what is going on, good people? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well out there. I think this video may or may not be a quick one because I am currently out about to meet up with my photographers group, and we're just gonna go shoot around the neighborhood. The neighborhood we're in right now is beautiful Bay Park. A lot of interesting stuff, good mix of residential and commercials in order to be able to go out and shoot. But today I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna take a break from the XM5 and I'm gonna come back to the X-T50. And the lens I have on here is the Brightin Star 35mm f/0.95. And I love this lens because it is so well constructed that f/0.95 is the star feature of the show, and it's got some really good image quality. I'm hoping to capture some portraits of my fellow photographers, maybe some of the cameras and gear that they're shooting with, and really just leverage that 0.95. Now, lucky for me, it is a bit of a gloomy day, uncharacteristic for San Diego, but yes, it is gloomy, so hopefully I won't need an ND filter to get that f/0.95, but I brought one just in case. I'm also going to be stopping it up to f8, f11, because we are going to be going around the neighborhood doing some street photography, environmental photography. I think it makes sense just to stop it up to those apertures as well in order to get more things in focus. I will be leveraging manual focus a lot. Luckily for me, I am shooting with the X-T50, so I do have the EVF. That should make it easier for dialing in that focus. I also have some settings programmed in, and I have the manual focus switch. So it's going to be fun to use this, go out and shoot with it, and really get some good shots. So, let's go ahead and get to it. So my photographers group met up at Bay Park Coffee, which is a pretty nice little coffee shop. Admittedly, I did capture this B-roll after the fact, but just to warm up my camera and get used to the settings in that f/0.95 lens, I did manage to snap a few test shots. Once everyone was accounted for, we went ahead and set out about our photo walk. And let me tell you, it was definitely a photo walk. I easily got 13,000 steps, and we kind of went all over Bay Park, even crossing the freeway at some times. But basically how it works is we go out as a group, and then we may collectively stop in order to capture a particular subject of interest, or individuals might stray away from the group in order to capture things that they see as interesting, and then they come back and regroup with us later. It was super interesting to see how other photographers were going about photographing different subjects, what they found interesting, and just watching their overall process and the gear that they're using and all that good stuff. And I even had some conversations with other photographers of all skill levels and just understanding what got them into photography, what interests them about photography, what particular aspects of photography do they like to focus on. And it was just super interesting to learn to talk with other photographers. And so if you haven't already, I would highly recommend getting into some type of photographer group, joining photo walks, and really just connecting with other photographers where you can actually go out and shoot together, because I feel like I've learned a lot just being around these other individuals. But getting into shooting with the Fuji X-T50 and Brightin Star 35mm f/0.95, it is a manual focus lens, so I was kind of forced to slow down a bit in order to dial in my focus. But just shooting with the X-T50, it felt good because I had that nice EVF. I was leveraging that a lot to make sure that my subject was in focus, and I even discovered a few new features that I hadn't seen before that were able to help me dial in my focus a little bit faster, and so that was pretty nice. Admittedly, I did not leverage that f/0.95 nearly as much as I wanted to, just because it was a bright day even when the clouds rolled in, and I didn't always want to use the ND filter because, truth be told, an ND filter kind of adds a color cast to your images, and so I didn't want to interfere with that. But the times where I did leverage that f/0.95, the bokeh came out nice and creamy. It basically looked comparable to full frame shots, and overall the images had a really nice character to them. In fact, I think there's a lot of character to this Brightin Star lens, so much so I was inspired to try a bunch of different recipes, both by other YouTube creators and ones I got off of Fuji X Weekly, in order to experiment with the colors and see how it kind of paired with the character of this lens. Also, just getting into creativity, I was really inspired by some of my other fellow photographers who are really experimenting with their compositions, and so I wanted to experiment with my compositions, and so I tried a few different things. I tried shooting through other objects, I tried composing a little bit differently than I normally would, and ultimately I think I came out with some pretty interesting shots. And overall, I think just shooting with the Fuji X-T50 in this Brightin Star f/0.95 lens, I think I was able to get some really nice image quality, some shots that I was really happy with, and yes, the overall experience was a little bit slower, but it was actually pretty nice. All right, y'all, so we are back. Now, first of all, let me just say, I am so grateful I found this photographers group here in San Diego because it was just a good experience just going around with other photographers, kind of talking shop, seeing what kind of cameras they're using, what type of gear they're using, understanding like some of their methods for shooting, and you just really seeing other people's process because it kind of informed my own a little bit. I kind of feel like I learned some things out there, and I think overall it was just a great experience. But getting into shooting with the X-T50 in the Brightin Star 35mm f/0.95, I love the quality coming out of this lens. Like I said, I've been using this lens for almost a year now, and it never disappoints me. I always just really like the image quality coming out of this lens. I feel like it has some character to it. I don't remember the price of this lens. I'll throw it up on the screen somewhere on here. It is very affordable, a very affordable manual focus lens, and just the quality coming out of it is really good, no matter if you're shooting at 0.95 or all the way up to f/16. I really like the images that I'm able to get with this. Yes, it is manual focus, so I do kind of have to take my time with it a little bit more in order to dial in the focus, but then that brings it back to the X-T50. It has things like being able to punch into the sensor in order to look at the subject, make sure it's in focus, and then jump back out to really take and compose the photo. Additionally, I found out there were some additional features. Previously, I was pressing in on the shutter speed wheel next to the AF on button. That would allow me to kind of punch into my subject and really just dial it in for focus. But I discovered that if I hold it in, if I press in and then hold it, I get some other modes here. And so there are actually 3 additional features to it. And so pressing in and holding, the first one that comes up for me is digital split image. I have no idea what that does. The feature after that, if I press and hold, is digital micro prism, which again, I have no idea what that does. But if I do it a third time, press in and just hold it for a second, I get focus peaking highlight. And so that was super useful, just being able to press in on this wheel and get that feature to come up to make sure that I see what's in focus, what's not in focus with focus peaking. And so I thought that was really useful with the X-T50. I didn't realize it could do that. And I knew it had focus peaking, but I didn't realize it was already mapped to that button. So that was a pleasant surprise for me. But additional things with the X-T50 is I had those 7 custom settings. Unlike the XM5 where I only had 4 at max, I had 7, and so I was using various recipes. I used everything from recipes created by other YouTubers like Reggie Ballesteros or Film by Fresh, he did Classic 89, or even Roman Fox, I tried his recipe as well. But then I had some of my own little recipes in there that I grabbed from Fuji X Weekly, and I was using those as well. So I kind of just jumped around between my recipes in order to really dial in the recipe for the mood I was trying to get depending on what I was shooting, and it did not disappoint. And paired with this lens, you know, I think I was able to really get some decent shots. I will say, I think just being with other photographers really inspired me to try new things, and so I really enjoyed that. I really had a good time. I will leave a link to this lens down in the description if y'all want to purchase it. It is an affiliate link, so I do get a small kickback. It does help the channel. No pressure to buy from it though. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that notification bell to stay informed on future content. And until next time, y'all, I will catch y'all later.